Dr. Suvarnani.
Good morning, one and all. Today, we are on the third day of our 5-day faculty development program on outcome-based education, aiming questions based on Bloom's taxonomy. Today, our resource person, Dr. Rosamma Madam, is delivering the lecture on Towards Higher Order Thinking. We all are eagerly waiting for your lecture, ma'am. On behalf of IQAC, Sri Shankara College Kaladi, and all the participants, I welcome you, ma'am, for the session. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the slide is visible for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Today, we are continuing with the different aspects of higher order thinking based on Bloom's taxonomy and, of course, the revised taxonomy of 2001, and which is widely accepted across the universities and across almost all the schools globally. Then yesterday we had a task related to the preparation of a question related to the integration of different domains. Preparation of a single question which shows that 3 domains are there. So I think you have just gone through that, and if possible, you can share that. Do we have Femina with us? Femina, are you ready? Not available. Srija Chellappan. ആരുമില്ലേ? Sachin Menon present here. പേര് വിളിക്കുന്ന ആർക്കും ഇഷ്ടമല്ലെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നല്ലേ? അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ പരാജയപ്പെട്ടെന്ന് പറയാം. ഒരു പേരൂടെ വിളിച്ചേക്കാം. അല്ലീസി ആന്റണി. So what is the inference? These people are not ready to share the question, or they haven't prepared the question, no problem. Anybody just prepared a question, please come.
Teacher, people are joining only. That could be the reason.
Okay, okay. Then there is no need to waste the time. Anybody can share the question. Please come.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm Rekha.
Yes.
My question is based on my subject, physics. Okay, my question is, what is beat frequency? Suggest one method where we can change the beat frequency. Is this expected of us?
Yeah, it's okay. Then how does it includes the cognitive and affective domain?
Yeah, the first sentence, what is beat frequency is a cognitive one.
Yeah.
And
suggesting a
method. Pardon, ma'am?
Yes, you proceed.
Okay, suggest one method is an effective one. And they should know, they should have psychomotor skills to suggest that method which changes the beat frequency.
Okay, that is related to doing some activity, performing an activity, yes. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, okay. Good. Any more responses?
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Supriya here, ma'am.
Yes, Supriya, please.
Ma'am, I am a faculty from fashion designing.
Yeah.
So I have given a question for a practical paper.
Yeah.
Ma'am, it is complete the following motif using the stitches and colors employed in Kantha work of West Bengal.
Excellent. It includes all these aspects.
All
Exactly.
yes.
Very good. The cognitive aspect is there, affective aspect is there. Of course, while we go for the stitching with the Kantha work, naturally that will become the psychomotor activity. Excellent.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm Sulakshmi. My subject is English. So the paper conversational English, I'm giving this question. Write a sequence of dialogue for a skit performance. Use any instance from your life that you can remember somewhat precisely. See that the sequence does not exceed 15 So when it is being performed, there would be psychomotor activity. And since they are thinking about something that happened in their own life or something that they really cherish to be part of their life, there is affective domain. And understanding and putting it into words naturally include uh, uh, cognitive skills. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am. Myself, Ambili. I'm from Sri Shankara College, Kaladi, Environment Science Department. I have that question. Discuss various types of water-bearing formations of rocks. Here, we have to identify four types of water-bearing formations, and again, it is subdivided. So it includes cognitive, and also we have to draw the diagrams that shows all types of water-bearing formations together, or you can choose otherwise to draw individual diagrams. So it combines cognitive, affective, and psychomotor skills.
Very good. Since drawing some pictures also included, that is the part of psychomotor domain. Very good. Yes.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Myself, Nishita from St. Teresa's College.
Yes.
My subject is botany. So I have prepared a question on photosynthesis. It's a very complex process. So the question goes like, explain the different stages in photosynthesis and establish the connection between them with the help of schematic or concept diagrams. So the affective part is explaining the different stages in the processes in photosynthesis. The cognitive part is in establishing the connection between the different processes taking place in different parts of a cell. And the schematic diagram is a psychomotor skills.
Very good. It's an apt example for integration of all these skills, including the schematic diagram. Okay. Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Please.
I'm from St. Peter's College, Kolancheri. So I have prepared a question asking the students to draw a diagram show consumers equilibrium. So for that, first they have to prepare a schedule. So that will be a cognitive domain, and they have to draw the diagram showing the equilibrium point. So that will constitute psychomotor domain, and they have to select commodities. They can select commodities according to wish for bringing out the example of consumer security. So that will be their affective domain.
Yes, very good. It includes three aspects. Drawing diagram, that becomes the psychomotor aspect. Other explanations include the cognitive as well as affective part. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Manju from St. I'm biochemistry faculty. I prepared one question. Here, identify the carbohydrate present in the given sample. Chemocatalysis also. Here, identify the and using for both the experiment, draw the this chart also, analysis, scheme of analysis also. Affective domain is also there.
Could you please repeat the question, because there was some disturbance and I could.
How do you identify the carbohydrate present in a given sample? Identification of a molecule.
Okay.
And give the scheme of analysis also.
Oh, very good. Right. It includes all these three aspects. Okay. Anybody else want to share?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Myself, Fatima Sulemi from MAS College, Nedangandam.
Yes.
I'd like to share a personal thing here. I was really fortunate to attend your classes at Mount Tabor College. I was 2013 batch there. So
okay.
my question is, okay, ma'am, my question is, I'm from English department. So my question is, attempt a postmodern reading of a movie that the students have watched recently. So understanding the theory and practice of postmodernism come from the cognitive domain, and watching the movie and finding the nuances of the movie comes from the affective domain. And of course, watching the movie is from the psychomotor domain, I think.
Okay, very good. Watching the movie, sometimes it becomes the combination of cognitive as well as affective.
Yes,
but while watching the movie, in order to make a review of the film, he has to report or write down something related to the movie. Here comes the psychomotor aspect too, right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
this is a combination of all these aspects. Very happy to listen to you, Fatima. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure.
Okay.
Ma'am, initially I did the task which you gave in the forenoon yesterday. That is select a content and analyze the integration of types of knowledge.
Yeah. You can share it.
So I don't know whether my classification is correct, but it's just an attempt. It is on Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights is an international document that enshrines the rights and freedom of all human beings. It came into force on 10th December 1948 at Paris. This, I think, comes under factual knowledge.
Right.
Then the UDHR commits nations to recognize all human beings as being born free and equal in dignity and rights, regardless of their nationality, gender, religion, or any other status. I think we can classify it under conceptual knowledge.
Okay.
Next is procedural. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was a response to atrocities that took place during the Second World War. It was framed by members of Human Rights Commission with Eleanor Roosevelt as the chair.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Complete.
Yeah, myself Fresh. Yeah, ma'am, myself Freshmi from MS Kaladi College, Manarkad. A question regarding our practicals. Ma'am, working out the value of components and prepare an RC oscillator of 1 millisecond temperature. So in this case, there is a cognitive and affective domain in the working out and a psychomotor domain in the in bringing practically the RC oscillator in our lab. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yeah, very good. It includes all these aspects of different domains, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Very good. And let me complete the feedback to the other person who have classified the knowledge to 3, and I couldn't hear the procedural knowledge related to that. Anyway, the factual and the conceptual knowledge were right. Anything else to add?
Procedural was the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was a response to the atrocities that took place during the Second World War.
Right.
Okay. And the last one is we as global citizens are committed to the goals set in UDHR. Our identity transcends geographical and political borders. We should work for the for promoting international peace and protecting human rights throughout the world.
Excellent. That is the metacognitive aspect. What we
Yes.
have to do, or what is my thought related to that? Very good. Very
Yes.
good. Yes, I hope majority of you have gone through different aspects of the types of knowledge, and some of you have prepared beautiful questions too. Congratulations for that. Anyway, due to time restrictions, we have to go to the next part. And with these prerequisites, I think we can go towards the higher order thinking process, because at present, we all have the basic understanding related to that, or higher level, or still most of us have the capacity to analyze and evaluate various situations. So the responses shows that you have those type of higher order thinking skills at present. Now, what are the different strategies by which we can impart those skills among the students, by classifying the knowledge, by identifying the process of thinking like that? Okay. രാവിലെ എന്തോ പ്രോബ്ലംസ് ആണോ എല്ലാവരും ആകെപ്പാടെ എന്താ രാവിലത്തെ ഒരു സമയത്തിന്റെ ആണോ? ഞാനിവിടെ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് ഒരുപാട് വലിയ 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 ഭൂകമ്പവും പേമാരിയും കൊടുങ്കാറ്റും ഒക്കെയാണ് കേൾക്കുന്നത്. സോ പ്ലീസ് മ്യൂട്ട് യുവർ sound, otherwise it would be difficult for all of us. Okay. Yes. So let us move towards the higher order thinking with certain thinking skills. So this is a simple puzzle. Rearrange the letters and form a word, please. Which is the word?
Thinking, no?
Thinking. Very good. Yes. So this is a thinking process, a simple thinking process where we try to rearrange the words to get the meaning of a word. We try to form a word. And how do we get it? Because we are familiar with the word thinking. So the familiarity is an important aspect, or basic remembering or understanding help us to go for higher order thinking skills. If you are not familiar with the word thinking, it is not possible to rearrange these letters to frame the word, right? So this is very important, familiarity with different things, different aspects, different experiences, and basic prerequisites of knowledge related aspects. All these help us to move towards higher order thinking. So thinking is a process that is related to our previous experiences, our current knowledge, our exposure to different situations of the world. All these contribute to higher order thinking, right? Now, go through the questions. The numerical problems are very difficult to solve. No, suppose you are a bus driver. On the first stop, you pick up 6 men and 2 women. At the second stop, 2 men leave and 1 woman boards the bus. At the third stop, 1 man leaves and 2 women enter the bus. At the fourth stop, 3 men get on and 3 women get off. At fifth stop, 2 men get off, 3 men get on, 1 woman gets off, and 2 women get on. What is the bus driver's name?
We ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. So see, when there is a statement that numerical problems are difficult to solve, that itself makes certain prejudices for us. And we all have certain beliefs that it is very difficult to solve numerical problems. The first sentence is the most important sentence related to answering the question. But unfortunately, when we go through the questions, we try to immediately write down the digits and try to calculate adding, subtracting like that. And it is at the end only we find that it is something not related to the digits, right? So the attention of the relevant thing is an important aspect for thinking, higher order thinking. It's a simple question, but sometimes while we see the nature of the question, there is tendency, just like during the first session, I have brought your attention to a question paper where there are simple questions and at the same time numerical problems with 4 or 5 sentences, and there is possibility for the students to skip those numerical problems with larger sentences, right? So this is the case of thinking about certain questions, and if we approach this without appropriate attention, naturally the thinking process will be reduced or will be diminished We certain prejudices or certain problems of our attention cause our thinking or make barriers for our thinking. So when we go through this, we give importance to the digits or the processes in that. But when we come to the last part of the question, or when we are trying to see the whole question, if we try to get the whole picture at the beginning itself, then it is very easy to solve the problem. So getting the whole picture of a problem is related to attention. And if we are able to attend properly to the whole situation, naturally it is very easy to proceed towards the answer, right? So this come to the first one. Write as many words as possible ending with ION. For example, fashion, mission, cation, like that. Try to write it. How many words can you write? I will give 15 seconds, please. Yes. Anybody please share?
Ration.
Yes.
Motion, friction, section, fiction, caution, CAUT.
Creation.
Vision, passion, decoction, violation, precaution, mansion.
Nation, determination,
Confusion,
condition,
diffusion,
education.
passion, caption.
Okay. Yes, very good. Yes, very good, very good. See, this is thinking. This is creative thinking. Our responses are entirely different, and we try to write as many words as possible. And this is actually the part of a verbal creativity. And the number of words indicates our fluency in creativity, where fluency is an important component of creativity. As a teacher or as a student, if you are able to write as many numbers as possible, that shows that I am very creative. I'm very fluent with the words. So this is verbal creativity. So coming to the next, that is visual aspect. Combine these shapes to form pictures. Each shape may be used many times in any size.
Ma'am, slide is not moving.
Is it visible now?
No, ma'am. Yes, now it is visible.
Okay. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, we can see.
Yes. Yeah. These shapes have to be combined to get as many shapes as possible. But these three figures should be a part of that figure. You can repeat any number of times these shapes. So this shows our ability to create something very different if we possess skill to visualize something. The other one was something to express our ability to represent words. This shows the visualization skills. Okay. This may be the simplest.
Ma'am, it is not visible, ma'am. Okay, it is visible.
Okay. So this is the simplest figure that can be drawn with the help of these figures, of course, right? And we can draw many different types of figures using these types of shapes. So while we observe the different activities that we perform now, it shows that thinking is an individual activity and the products we generate are unique. The responses are different. The answers are different. See, when we come to the first question, for this question, we have only one answer. Here, we have only one answer. These two are creative thinking, but this is related to convergent thinking because there is only one answer. But still it is thinking, creative thinking, higher order thinking, but only one answer. When we come to this exercise, the answers are different. While we analyze the answers of the responses, it can be seen that repetitions will be very less and the answers will be different for different persons. This is creative thinking and this is known as divergent thinking. The answers are divergent. We cannot say that this is right, this is wrong. All answers are equally right. So this is divergent thinking. So how do we conclude thinking is an individual activity and it generates a unique product? So the product of the thinking will be different for different persons in divergent thinking. And this is the way by which we help our students to create something in a very innovative manner because it will become a unique product. And I think here comes the answer for an important question that we have discussed yesterday. Is there anything that promote the individuality of students in the taxonomy? And Baby Shari teacher added that while we go for higher order thinking skills, there is scope and possibility for promoting individuality by observing the product of each individual. So we have to come to that conclusion because when we go for higher order thinking, of the products will be the ideas generated by the learner, the plans produced by the learner, everything will be unique according to his own interest, his own vision, his own imagination. So of course there is scope for individuality and we have to infer from these exercises that Bloom's taxonomy is highly helpful for promoting the individual talents and potentialities of the learner, right? Now we go to the next aspect of the taxonomy. The first one shows Bloom's taxonomy of 1956. And the next is Bloom's taxonomy that is revised one. While we compare these two, we can say different aspects in these two figures, but the levels are almost same, 6 levels with slight differences. The first one, see what are the differences. Bloom in 1956 and the 2001 taxonomy, the revised taxonomy of Bloom by Anderson and Krathwohl, still it is known as the Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's revised taxonomy, but it was suggested by Anderson and Krathwohl. The knowledge is replaced by remember because we know knowledge is a product, it's not a process. So when we come to thinking process, actually getting knowledge is through remembering, or retrieval of the knowledge is through remembering. So that process is included here in the revised taxonomy. Knowledge changed to remember. Both processes are same, but slight change in the titles. Comprehension is same, change to understand, meaning almost all the same. Application, the verb apply, because it is something to do. So hence, so the word apply, analysis, analyze. And here comes another difference related to synthesis and evaluation. In the new taxonomy, evaluate comes a level below the highest level, whereas synthesis is equated with create for the new taxonomy. So the highest or the apex process of the revised taxonomy is create, which is equivalent to synthesis. What is synthesis? When we try to collect different aspects of different elements and we put together to make a whole thing. It is the opposite of analysis. In analysis, we try to break down a whole to simpler aspects. Whereas in synthesis, we try to collect different things to form a meaningful whole. Actually, that is the process of creation or create. So the synthesis is something higher than evaluation. That is the observation behind this modification. While we try to synthesize something, that synthesis process comes through our evaluation too. We evaluate whether it is good or bad. We judge the merits and demerits. And finally, we select the best of all and we collect all these things to make a whole. So the synthesis comes up, that is create. So these are the differences in the revised taxonomy. All other things almost same in the Bloom's taxonomy. So while we set outcomes, they are related to this Anderson and Krathwohl taxonomy, where we believe that the highest objective, highest outcome is to lead the learner towards creating knowledge. Creating is the highest outcome that is to be achieved by a learner. Okay. So these are the cognitive process included in the taxonomy. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. We start with remember. Okay. Now please read the words. Okay. So this is the task. Please try to write the words you read. Yes. Can anybody say the total number of words in our slide?
Is it 12?
12. Okay.
20.
Any? Yeah. Yes.
20.
Pardon? 13.
20.
14.
20. 14.
14.
Okay. So anybody could write 14 words?
No.
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 I think majority can write more than 10 words, I think, at least. കുറഞ്ഞത് 10 കിട്ടിയോ?
9.
ഇല്ല. 9.
11, ma'am.
11. More than 11, anybody? So 11 is the top. Okay. Now
12,
let's
ma'am.
go 12. Very good. See, these were the words: book, camera, glass, chair, pen, flower, phone, graph. The word is one word is there which makes it becomes a distraction for us, because all other words are very simple to read, and while we read in a very simple way, when we come to that particular word, it makes a distraction for us, and that is, of course, that is bourgeois. The spelling is very different, right? So total there were 14 words. And we could write 11 words. Who wrote 11? Your name, please.
I'm Dr. Femina, ma'am.
Yeah, Dr. Femina wrote 11 words. So that is through memory, right? Okay, no problem. Now let us see the next task. Which among the following words are not present in the given sheet?
Line.
Line, okay.
Line.
Pencil, note,
Water.
Fan, note.
Water.
Fan,
Very
Only
good.
pen was available, ma'am. Present was
Okay.
present in the
Oh,
previous.
oh, yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. So you can respond very easily for this particular task, because what is the difference between these two tasks? The first one was recalling the 14 words. That requires more memory power. While we come to task 2, that is recognition, that is recognizing the words which were not present or which were present, like that. So it is more easier for us while we go through the comparison. It is very easier. Now, these are the two important processes in remember. We try to recall something and we try to recognize something. So what is remember? When we come to the the Bloom's revised taxonomy, remember comes in the lowest level. Of course, I have already mentioned that even though it is at the lowest level, it is a thinking skill. So what is remember? We try to retrieve relevant knowledge from long-term memory. For the past two exercises, we were trying to remember from our short-term memory because the material is presented just now. So while we interact with an information and while we try to recollect that is from our short-term memory. But when we think in the platform of a learner, the learner has to retrieve the information for the examination after learning for a long period, and that is from the long-term memory. So that requires more memory, and of course that becomes thus at the lower level of the thinking skill. And two important cognitive processes included in remember are recalling and recognizing. Recalling is we try to remember those things from our long-term memory. So what is in my long-term memory, short-term memory, and what is the role of the teacher here? So there are different models related to memory. There are more modern memory models. Still it has relevance. See, from the beginning, we have certain environmental input that we receive through sensory input. So what is in the environmental input? Now we can see many things. The screen is an environmental input. There are many sounds around us. All those are environmental input. And we see something, we listen something. So the sight, sound, everything comes in the sensory input. All these go to sensory memory. And from sensory memory, only those things where we put our attention or concentration, that will go to short-term memory. Can you remember the first slide of the presentation? What was it?
Revised Bloom taxonomy.
Yeah, revised Bloom's taxonomy. That was the first frame. And the second was?
Rearrange the words thinking.
Okay, so the sensory memory has passed it to short-term memory because through attention, we transferred it to short-term memory. Otherwise, we just saw it. You just listen to my explanations like that. So from the environmental input, our senses receive information that goes to sensory memory. And if we feel that that is very important and to be registered, that will go to short-term memory. So the short-term memory will remain for a short period and we have to maintain through repetition or rehearsal, then that will remain there. And all those, one second, sorry. Hello. മനസ്സിലായി madam. സെയിം ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്, അത് ഷഫിൾ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അത് തന്നെ അങ്ങനെ. ഓക്കെ താങ്ക് യു. ഞാൻ വിളിച്ചു, മാഡം ഉണ്ടോ ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ? ഞാൻ വിളിച്ചോളാം. ശരി, താങ്ക് യു. Sorry. Then the short-term memory will try to pass those information to long-term memory, which by we have worked on it, we have maintained it through different types of rehearsal strategies, and we try to elaborate it, and finally that will go to long-term memory. So this is sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. So those information that are registered in the long-term memory will be easier for retrieval during the examination time. And if it is in the short-term memory and we don't try to process or pass it to the long-term memory through rehearsal, that will be forgotten, or decay or displacement will take place. So what is the role of the teacher? The teacher will become an environmental input while the teacher is in the classroom. For the students, the teacher is an input. The words of the teacher, the different visuals the teacher presents through the gestures, through the movements, or through the blackboard, everything will be registered to the sensory memory. And only those things where the students give more attention, more importance, where do they feel that they are relevant, that will be registered to the short-term memory, or that will be passed to short-term memory, right? So it is the teacher is a deciding factor in this memory process initially, and later it is the role of the student. So as an environmental input, the teacher has to provide the appropriate sensory input for the students so that it is registered in the sensory memory, and teacher has to maintain attention throughout the session, throughout the class, so that it will go to short-term memory. And after 2 or 3 weeks, it is the responsibility of the teacher to revise those concepts and those content of the syllabus so that that is transferred to the long-term memory. So this shows the importance of drill, practice, revision, elaboration, like that, all those processes in the classroom, so that these things are registered in the long-term memory. So when we say that remember is the lowest level of the thinking skill, here the role of the teacher is important. At the same time, the student has to work as his own to make it registered in the long-term memory so that he or she can retrieve it appropriately. And see, when we go to the classroom, we know we prepare a load, and sometimes we are not able to transfer all those things. നമ്മൾ എത്രയൊക്കെ തയ്യാറായി പോയാലും അവസാനം കുട്ടികളിൽ എത്തുന്ന ഈ പ്രോസസ്സ് മനസ്സിലായല്ലോ എത്ര ചെല്ലുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. Whatever things we prepare, whatever things we present, only a portion will be received by the students. A part of it will be registered in the sensory memory. And from the sensory memory, only a portion will be go to short-term memory. And from the short-term memory, only minute portion will go to long-term memory. So when we compare the input, environmental input and the long-term memory, there will be big gap. Okay. So this is a simple poem related to this. നമ്മൾ എവിടെ പറഞ്ഞാലും എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞാലും പകുതി പോലും അതിൽ 4 പോലും അപ്പുറത്തെത്തുകയില്ല എന്നുള്ളതിനെ കണക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന മലയാളത്തിലെ ഒരു കവിതയുടെ ഭാഗമാണിത്. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്, ബട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് ടു റിമൈൻഡ് യു, അറിഞ്ഞതിൽ പാതി പറയാതെ പോയി, പറഞ്ഞതിൽ പാതി പതിരായി. ദിസ് ഇസ് വാട്ട് ഈസ് ആക്ച്വലി ഹാപ്പനിങ് ഇൻ ദ ക്ലാസ് റൂം. ഒരു പാതി ഹൃത്തിനാൽ പൊറുക്കുമെങ്കിൽ മറുപാതി ഹൃത്തിനാൽ വെറുത്തുകൊള്ളുക. സോ ഹാഫ് ഓഫ് ദ പോർഷൻ അതെങ്കിലും ഹൃദയത്തിൽ അവർ ഉൾക്കൊണ്ടാൽ കൊള്ളാം, മറ്റേത് നമ്മളെ സബ്ജക്റ്റിനോടുള്ള വെറുപ്പ് കൊണ്ടൊക്കെ പോകും. ആൻഡ് ഫൈനലി ഓൾ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് വിൽ സേ ദിസ് ഇസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്, ദിസ് ഇസ് പ്രിപ്പയർഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ എ ലോങ് റെഫറൻസ് ലൈക്ക് ദാറ്റ്, സോ ദിസ് ഇസ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് ഫോർ ദ എക്സാമിനേഷൻ. സോ ദീസ് സോർട്ട് ഓഫ് ജനറലൈസേഷൻസ് വി വിൽ ബി ഗിവിംഗ്. Can you link this, the poet, identify the poet of this?
ഇച്ഛ്മുക്കുട്ടിയാണോ മാം?
അല്ലല്ല, അടുത്തൊക്കെ വരുന്നുണ്ട്. Okay, Balachandran Chullikadu. Yes. Thank you. Now, when we come to this remember, these are the most important terms related to remember. So this is the way by which we framing questions, which we set the outcomes. The student will be able to choose the terms, will be able to define something, will be able to find label, list, match, name, relate, select, show, spell, tell, like that, right? So these are the outcomes, specific words to be used while we prepare course outcomes. So if these are the words to be selected, then what will be the nature of the questions to assess whether these outcomes have achieved? What is, where is, when did, who are the people, like that. So when we assess it in the classroom to oral questioning, can you recall Can you select? Can you list? These sort of questions will be asked. Right? So this is the way by which we set the outcomes related to remember. And if these are the words we choose, of course, the questions will be like this. So this is the simplest method of setting the outcomes and assessing with the help of questions. So the word what can be used like this, but sometimes what can be used followed by some other words, then the question pattern will change to higher order thinking. That we will see later. Now, see some examples. Who is the author of Midnight's Children? That is to be from our memory. Which is the capital of Gujarat? Name the inventor of the telephone. List the universities of Kerala. Label the diagram appropriately. Locate the word with similar meaning. See the question framing. All words are different, but all are helpful for assessing the skill of remembering. Right? All these are related with factual knowledge. So it is to be identified that remember is related with the testing of factual knowledge. So this is the simplest level of questioning. So this is the simplest level of setting the outcomes. Right? Now, what is understand? Constructing meaning from instructional messages, including oral, written, and graphic communication. So we move from remembering, goes to the higher level. We have to construct our own meaning, otherwise it would be difficult to give the answer. I hope you remember the first exercise during the day, first day, where we take the topic related to Indian bureaucracy. And the first question, what were the different types of services? And the second question, identify the category of the service. With that indicates that the student has to construct meaning. Otherwise, it is difficult to answer for the question. So, oral, written, and graphic communication is to be interpreted well, and it is to be meaningfully learned to understand. The different cognitive processes included in understanding as defined by Bloom are interpreting, exemplifying, we find suitable example, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining. These are the different processes. So see, when we analyze the whole taxonomy, understanding is the level where most important processes are included. More general processes are included here. 7 processes are there. When we come to other thinking skills, it includes 2 or 3 maximum. So the most important aim of classroom communication is to provide understanding related to basic concepts of our subject. So developing understanding is an important aim of classroom teaching. Without understanding, we cannot go to the higher levels. That's why these processes are highly important in teaching process. In learning process also, we try to assess the understanding level of the students through different questions. While we analyze the question papers, we have observed that most of the questions come up to this level, because most of the topics are related to this thinking skill related to understanding level. From that, we have to go higher. For that, this understanding is to be ensured by the student. We have to ensure that the students have the understanding related to all the different aspects. Then only we can go to the next level, right? So this is the hierarchical order. We start from interpreting, then goes to exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and at last, when a student explains something, that shows that the student possesses all the other skills in his thinking process, so that he can explain it effectively. So this is the way by which explanation become effective. How do we give full mark for an explanation? That explanation should include all the components related to the other aspects of interpretation, example, summarization, classification, comparison, like that. So an explanation will be meaningful only when it includes the different components related to the other aspects. So the explanation is the highest level in the process of understanding. All other aspects are to be integrated for the effective explanation. Otherwise, it would become, or it would promote rote learning. That's why students go for rote learning, because they are unable to explain this by including all the other elements related to understanding. So this is very important that when we try to explain something, we teachers have to ensure that we have the real skill to interpret data for the students. We have to present the most appropriate examples for the students. We have to help them to classify the different types of knowledge that is to be presented, that are presented before them. And at the end, we try to help them to summarize with the help of certain graphical organizers that we have seen yesterday. And through that, students get the inferences related to the concept. They will become able to compare what they have learned now and previously. And through that, they will be able to explain in a very clear manner about the new concept in relation to the concepts they have learned earlier. So this is meaningful learning. All knowledge is linked with each other. So through that, when he go for the higher level, he can easily construct new meaning, or he can easily create something. Then, if you take each one, what is interpreting? Interpretation. Interpretation is converting information from one representational form to another. One representational form to another. When I say that the pressure, volume, temperature, all these are related, these are verbal descriptions. And finally, I come to the conclusion that thus it can be represented as PV is equal to RT. So those verbal explanations are converted to symbolic form. Or I say that S is equal to UT plus half AT square. What is S, what is U, what is T? I try to explain that. So from symbolic form to verbal explanations. That is interpretation. I try to draw the graph of something from the given data. So from data to visual form. I try to interpret the meaning in a different way. This is something given by the author. So what is the meaning of it? So one form to another. There are 4 lines given as a poem. What is the meaning of it? Those 4 lines of the poem are represented in a different way by writing it as a paragraph. That is interpretation. So interpretation can be given in different ways. What is exemplifying? Interpretation, the simplest way is simple translation. Translate this to from English. Translate this from English to Hindi, from Hindi to Malayalam, like that. What is exemplifying? By identifying the concept, I try to link an example with the concept. So in order to select the best example, I have to define the features of the concept. Otherwise, the example will not be matching for that. So what are the essential attributes of the concept? I will identify by learning that concept. Then when I see an example, I will compare whether that concept, that example possesses all those attributes of the concept. If I feel that that example is okay, then that is a positive example for that concept, and this is known as exemplifying. Next is classifying. We'll be able to classify by identifying the features or patterns, and we feel that this concept belongs to that particular category, this concept belongs to this category. So this classification is here in understanding. Next is summarizing. Summarizing, very easy. We try to represent it by abstracting the meaning of that. 1 or 2 pages are there. I try to summarize it as my own by abstracting the real meaning of that. There is a poem of 15 lines. I try to write the essential of the poem within 5 sentences. So that is summarizing. Okay. Inferring. Noticing relationship among given statements, patterns, and abstract a concept. We try to notice the relationship among given statements, patterns, and abstract a concept. What is the relationship between the different statements we have presented? And based on that, we say that, hence, we can conclude that. This is the meaning of the concept. That is inferring. And what is comparison? We find the correct similarities and differences. There are certain examples before us. We try to compare that, find similarities and differences. And finally, we construct a series of statements with cause-effect relationship. And all these statements include different types of interpretations. It includes some examples, certain classifications and comparisons are there. And we try to infer certain abstractions through that. And finally, we give the explanation as a summary of all the concepts which are connected with each other. So this is related to explaining, right? So understanding comes through interpretation, exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing, and explaining. So when we set outcomes, we select a particular module. When we analyze the content, we can identify what should be the outcome related to this. The learner will be able to compare the concepts. The learner will be able to summarize the concept related to this. The learner will be able to classify conductors and insulators. The learner will be able to exemplify for the concept taxonomy. The learner will be able to explain the concept outcome-based education. So this is the way by which we set outcomes. So if this is the way of setting the outcomes, then of course it is very easy to ask the question too. So these are the different verbs we usually use, or these are the outcomes we set for the thinking skill understanding. Classify, compare, contrast, demonstrate, explain, extend, illustrate, infer, interpret. All those words are taken from those sub-processes. Relate, rephrase, show, summarize, translate. So what will be the nature of the question? Explain. That is the most important question that we usually give in part C, right? Explain. Or for part B also, when there is 4 or 5 marks, we usually use the term explain. Then at the same time, we can substitute those words with illustrate, show that, why do, how would you classify, how would you compare, how would you state that, what are the relevant facts, what is the main idea, which statements are relevant, what is meant by, that is the simplest form. What can you say about, how would you summarize the concept related to that? So all these come under the category of understanding, right? Yes. Here we have 2 poems. What do you understand from this? You can select anything. The first is from Malayalam, Dr. Soman Kadalur, maybe quite familiar for the people from Calicut or Kannur. And the other is from English by Maya Angelou. What do you understand? So this includes different processes. See, the interpretation is for you. Can you relate some examples related to this? Can you classify anything related to this? What is the summarization of the poem? What do we infer from it? Can you compare these two poems? What is your explanation related to the poem? Just go through this and please share. It's open for you. It's a very good exercise. നോക്കൂ എത്ര കഥനങ്ങൾക്ക് മുകളിലാണ് നാം മുളച്ചു മുതിരുന്നത്, തളിർത്തു പൂക്കുന്നത്, പൂത്തു കായ്ക്കുന്നത്, പുളച്ചു മതിക്കുന്നത്. മധുരമേ നീ ഓർക്കില്ല വേരെറിഞ്ഞ കയ്പുകൾ. See the lines of the other poem. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like care, I will rise. So please come. What do you understand? How do we explain? Anybody can come. It's not precisely for the teachers from literature. Of course, they should do it.
Ma'am,
Yes.
Namaskaram.
ആരാണ്?
Justo
സാറിന്റെ
മാം ഞാനിപ്പോ ഇതിനകത്ത് റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് മാം ആദ്യത്തെ സെഷനിൽ പറഞ്ഞ പാദങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉണ്ട് മോഹങ്ങൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റുമായിട്ടാണ്. ഈ മധുരമേ നീ ഓർക്കില്ല വേരെറിഞ്ഞ് കയ്പുകൾ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഈ വേരിനെയും പാദത്തിനെയും ഒരു പ്രത്യേക രീതിയിൽ ലിങ്ക് ചെയ്ത് നമുക്ക് റീഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ തോന്നുന്നു. അത് റിയാലിറ്റിയിൽ നമുക്കുള്ള ആ ഒരു വേര്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്വപ്നങ്ങളിൽ നമുക്കുള്ള വേര്, ഓർമ്മകളിൽ നമുക്കുള്ള വേര്, അതൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് ചേർത്ത് വായിക്കാമെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. അടിസ്ഥാനപരമായിട്ട് ഇത് ആ ഒരു ഓപ്പറേഷന്റെ ആ ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സർവൈവലിന്റെ ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി കൂടി പറയാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നു എന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
Excellent, Justo. Excellent observation. Beautiful.
ടീച്ചറെ നമസ്കാരം. എന്റെ പേര് അനിൽകുമാർ. ഞാൻ ശങ്കരപ്പുഴയിൽ തന്നെ സംസ്കൃതത്തിലാണ്. ഞാൻ ഇത് കാണുന്നത് പണ്ട് ഒരു ലോകോക്തി ഉണ്ട്, ചിൽപ്പുമാനുടെ നിവേദ്യമല്ലയോ തുപ്പുവാൻ അരുതിറക്കുവാൻ പണി. ജീവിതം ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണെങ്കിൽ അത് ഒഴിവാക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പൊ അതിനെ എങ്ങനെ മധുരമായി കാണണം, ജീവിതത്തിന്റെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകളെ നല്ല കയ്പാണ്, പക്ഷെ അതിനെ മധുരമായിട്ട് കണ്ട് ആസ്വദിക്കാൻ എങ്ങനെ പഠിക്കണം എന്നുള്ളതായ ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് അപ്രോച്ചിലാണ് ഞാൻ ഇത് കണ്ടത്.
Excellent, Anil Kumar sir. Excellent observation. Beautiful. See, ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ കുട്ടികളോട് പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കുന്നെങ്കിൽ എന്ത് രസമാണ് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ഒരു മോട്ടിവേഷൻ അല്ലേ? വളരെ ചെറിയ ലൈൻസിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അങ്ങോട്ട് ഇന്റർപ്രറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. We try to summarize them in different meaning. See, please come. വരൂ വരൂ. മായ ഏഞ്ചലോയെ വിട്ടോ, ഇംഗ്ലീഷുകാർ പറയൂ.
Ma'am, Maya Angelou is a Black American writer, poet, and in this poem she states that whatever the society tries to suppress the marginalized, especially the Black people or women, she will rise above all the hurdles and she will state her identity clearly. It's an emboldened statement of Maya Angelou that I'll rise above all my hurdles and I'll rise like a phoenix. Whatever the society, shows before her with lots of limitations or foul words, she will rise above all the hurdles and she will show her confidence because in this poem she states that she's a phenomenal woman and nobody can hurt her feelings, nobody can limit her capacities because she is motivated from inside, and it's like that. That is what I got from this.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. That is the interpretation and summarization of the absolute way of converting information that we have just discussed. This is the interpretation as such. You just gave the background of Maya Angelou and gave the exact meaning of the lines she had written. Very good, beautiful.
Thank you.
Ben.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning.
ഞാൻ ചലന TKMM കോളേജിലെ ടീച്ചറാണ്. ഞാൻ മാം കയ്പ് എന്നുള്ള കവിതയുടെ എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായ കാര്യമാണ് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്. എത്ര കഥനങ്ങൾക്ക് മുകളിലാണ് നാം മുളച്ചു മുതിരുന്നത് എന്നതിൽ കൂടി നമുക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകളും പെയിനുകളും ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ അതെല്ലാം പലർക്കും വേണ്ടി പല കാര്യങ്ങൾക്കും വേണ്ടി നമുക്ക് സാക്രിഫൈസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് വേറെ ഒരാളുടെ സന്തോഷത്തിന് വേണ്ടി നമുക്ക് ശ്രമിക്കുമ്പോൾ കിട്ടുമ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു സാറ്റിസ്ഫാക്ഷൻ അതൊരു വലിയ മധുരമായിട്ട് മാറുന്നു. നമ്മളുടെ സാക്രിഫൈസും പെയിനും ആ ഒരു റിസൾട്ട് കിട്ടുന്ന ആള് ചിലപ്പോൾ അത് ഓർക്കണമെന്നില്ല. പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ അതിനു വേണ്ടി ചെയ്യുന്ന സാക്രിഫൈസിലൂടെ വേറൊരാളുടെ ഒരു പുഞ്ചിരി നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ കഴിയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ കയ്പ് ഒരു മധുരമായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. കരിമ്പെന്ന് പറയുന്ന ചെടി ഒരുപാട് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകളിലൂടെ വളർന്നിട്ടാണ് മധുരം പഞ്ചസാരയായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ കൈകളിൽ എത്തുന്നത്. അതേപോലെ ഒരുപാട് ബിറ്റർ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസുകളിൽ കൂടി നമുക്ക് ഒരു സ്മൈല് കണ്ടെത്താൻ കഴിയുമെങ്കിൽ അത് കയ്പിൽ നിന്നും മധുരത്തിലേക്കുള്ള ഒരു ട്രാൻസ്ഫോർമേഷൻ ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് അതിനെ ഇന്റർപ്രറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ തോന്നുന്നു.
മനോഹരം, മധുരം, ചാലനെ, കൊള്ളാം. നന്നായിരുന്നു. എങ്ങനെയാണ് കരിമ്പിനെ അതുമായിട്ട് റിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് എക്സാംപ്ലിഫൈങ് ദ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് വിത്ത് സം അതർ തിങ്സ്. വെരി ഗുഡ്. കണ്ടോ എത്ര രസകരമായിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇനി ആർക്കെങ്കിലും?
മിസ്, ഞാൻ മേരി ജെയിൻ ആണ്. ഇപ്പൊ ചലന ടീച്ചർ പറഞ്ഞ ആ ഒരു എക്സ്പ്ലനേഷനുമായി ചേർത്ത് വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് മലയാളത്തിലെ പ്രശസ്തനായിട്ടുള്ള കവി ഇടശ്ശേരി എഴുതിയ 2 വരികൾ നമ്മുടെ ഈ കയ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന കവിതയുമായി യോജിച്ചു പോകുന്നതാണ്. ഇടയ്ക്ക് കണ്ണീരുപ്പ് പുരട്ടാതെന്ത് ജീവിത പലഹാരം എന്നാണ് വരികള്. ഇടയ്ക്ക് കണ്ണീരിന്റെ ഉപ്പ് പുരളാതെന്ത് ജീവിത പലഹാരം. ജീവിതം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കണ്ണീരും കൂടി ചേർക്കുമ്പോഴാണ്, ആ ഉപ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എല്ലാത്തിലും രസം നൽകുന്ന ഒരു വസ്തുവാണല്ലോ, അതും കൂടി ചേർക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് ജീവിതം മധുരമുള്ള പലഹാരമായി മാറുന്നത് എന്നൊരു കൺസെപ്റ്റ്.
ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ. വളരെ നന്നായിരിക്കുന്നു. ഇടശ്ശേരിയുടെ വരികളുമായി ചേർത്ത് വെച്ചല്ലേ. എനിക്കു രസമേ നിമ്നോന്നതമാം വഴിക്ക് തേരൊരു പായിക്കൽ, അതിന് ചേർന്ന് വരുന്നതല്ലേ ഈ വരികളൊന്നും അല്ലേ? അപ്പോ കണ്ടോ, മധുരം കയ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന 2 രസങ്ങളോട് ചേർത്ത് ഉപ്പ് വന്നത് കണ്ടോ, എത്ര മനോഹരമായിരിക്കുന്നു. വളരെ മനോഹരമായ ഒരു കണക്ഷനാണ് അവിടെ കൊടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. സോ എക്സാംപ്ലിഫൈങ്, ഇന്റർപ്രറ്റിംഗ് ആൻഡ് എക്സ്പ്ലെയിനിങ് ഇൻ എ ഡിഫറെന്റ് വേ. ബ്യൂട്ടിഫുൾ.
ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ് മാം.
ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്
മാം. ഇപ്പൊ ഇവര് പറഞ്ഞ 2 കവിതകളോട് ചേർത്ത് വെക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു ഫിലിം സോങ് ആണ് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്. പഴയ അതിൽ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത് കത്തിയെരിയുമീ ഗ്രീഷ്മത്തിനപ്പുറം പൂക്കാലം ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കാം എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതം കത്തിയെരിഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരുപാട് സങ്കടം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും ഒരു പ്രതീക്ഷ നമുക്ക് മുന്നിലേക്കുണ്ട്. ആ പൂക്കാലത്തിന് വേണ്ടി നമ്മൾ കാത്തിരിക്കുന്നു. അപ്പൊ എല്ലാവരും, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് പഴയ ആൾക്കാർ പറയുന്നത് ജീവിതം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് സുഖ ദുഃഖ സമ്മിശ്രമാണ് എന്ന്. താങ്ക് യു മാം.
Oh, beautiful. So we have related it with the beautiful film song too. Now the knowledge is extended to different styles and patterns. This is the extension of knowledge and construction of meaning in a different way. Yes?
Is ma'am Nishita?
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Malayalam Kavita, I think it shows that hard work, how the effort you put into something, that is always very difficult. Hard work is difficult, but the result is always quite beautiful. But result nobody actually realizes the hard work that has gone behind it. Malayalam Kavita, when I compare it with the English poetry, that is Maya Angelou's poetry, somebody who has hardened or hardened like vyakti, they are bold enough to rise from any failure. How much you put them down, they're able to come out of that എന്നുള്ള ഒരു മെസ്സേജ്.
Beautiful. Beautiful explanation. You have gave explanations related to both the poems and connected the thoughts in a different way. Very good. ഇനി എന്തെങ്കിലും ചിന്തകളുണ്ടോ? എത്ര രസകരമായ ചിന്തകളാണ്. യെസ്.
മോർണിംഗ് മാഡം, ഞാൻ രാജേഷ് കെ, NSS കോളേജ് മഞ്ചേരി, ചരിത്ര വിദ്യാർത്ഥിയാണ്. ഞാനിതിനെ ചരിത്രപരമായിട്ടുള്ള ഇന്നത്തെ ജനാധിപത്യ സമൂഹത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന എല്ലാ സുഖ സൗകര്യങ്ങൾക്കും എന്താ പറയുന്നത്, ഒരു ഈക്വൽ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന ഭരണഘടന നൽകുന്ന ഒരു സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ ജീവിക്കുന്നതിന് പിന്നിൽ അതുവരെ എത്തിയ ഒരു സമൂഹത്തിന്റെ ദീർഘമായ ഒരു ചരിത്രമുണ്ട്. വളരെ കൈപ്പേറിയ, വളരെ സമരങ്ങളും പ്രതിഷേധങ്ങളും ഒക്കെ നടത്തി നമ്മൾ ആർജിച്ചെടുത്ത ഒന്നാണ്. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ സുഖം അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള ചരിത്ര കാലഘട്ടങ്ങളെ കുറിച്ചുള്ള ചരിത്ര അവബോധം മനുഷ്യന് അത്യാവശ്യമാണ്. അതില്ലാതെ വരുമ്പോൾ, അതിന്റെ കയ്പ് അറിയാതെ നമ്മൾ മധുരം മാത്രം അനുഭവിക്കുമ്പോൾ ചരിത്ര അവബോധം ഇല്ലാതായി പോവുകയും അത് വലിയ സാമൂഹ്യ വിപത്തിലേക്ക് നയിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യും എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ധ്വനി കൂടെ ഈ കവിതയിൽ കാണുന്നു.
Exactly right. ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ്. ചരിത്രപരമായ ഒരു ആഖ്യാനമാണ് ഇവിടെ നൽകിയത്. വന്ന വഴികൾ ഒരിക്കലും മറക്കരുത് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയാറില്ലേ, അല്ലേ? വന്ന വഴികൾ അതിന്റെ ഒരു ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ്. വന്ന വഴികൾ മറക്കാൻ പാടില്ല എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് പോലെ ചരിത്രം മറന്നുകൊണ്ട് നാം ജീവിക്കുന്നത് ശരിയല്ല എന്നുള്ള വളരെ കൃത്യമായ ചരിത്രപരമായ പ്രാധാന്യത്തെ കുറിച്ചാണ് രാജേഷ് സാർ പറഞ്ഞത്. വളരെ നല്ല ഒരു എക്സ്പ്ലനേഷൻ ആയിരുന്നു. വെരി ഗുഡ്. യെസ് പ്ലീസ്.
മാം, ഞാൻ മിനിയാണ്. ഞാൻ ഫിലിം സോങ്ങിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത് കൊച്ചിൻ കോളേജിലാണ്.
മിനി പാടുവോ?
ഇല്ല മാം, കുറച്ച് അങ്ങനെ.
എന്നാ പിന്നെ വരികളൊന്ന് പാടിയാൽ ആസ്വാദികരമാക്കാം. അഫക്റ്റീവ് ഡൊമൈനിൽ നിന്ന് വന്നേനെ.
ഞാന് നമുക്ക് ഈ കവിത കേൾക്കുമ്പോ നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തില് നമ്മുടെ പേരൻസ്, അപ്പനും അമ്മയും നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടി ചെയ്യുന്ന, അവർ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടി കുട്ടികളെ വളർത്തുമ്പോൾ അവരുടെ കഷ്ടപ്പാടുകൾ കുട്ടികൾ അറിയാതെ കുട്ടികൾ കോളേജിൽ ചെന്ന് അവര് തളിർത്തു പൂക്കുന്നതും മതിക്കുന്നതും പുളയ്ക്കുന്നതുമായ ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് വീണ്ടും ഓർമ്മ വരുന്നുണ്ട്. ഒരു അപ്പൻ, ഒരു ഫാദർ ഒരു വീടിന് വേണ്ടി ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന പൈസ, അധ്വാനം, അവരുടെ അസുഖങ്ങള് എല്ലാം മറന്നിട്ട് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കുട്ടികൾ കാണിക്കുന്ന കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങളും കൂടി ആദ്യത്തെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഓർമ്മ വരും. അത് അവർക്ക് നല്ലത് വരാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് പേരൻസ് ഒരുപാട് അവരുടെ ഒരു ത്യാഗം ചെയ്യുന്നു, അവരതിൽ സന്തോഷിക്കുന്നു. അതാണ് അവരുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ സന്തോഷം. എൻ്റെ അമ്മയൊക്കെ പറയാറുണ്ട്, അമ്മയുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ സന്തോഷം മക്കള് എല്ലാവരും നന്നായിട്ട് ജീവിക്കുന്നു എന്ന് കാണുന്നതാണെന്ന്. അതും കൂടെ നമുക്ക് ഇതിനോട് ചേർത്ത് വെക്കാമെന്ന് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു.
Yeah, very true. When there are some words like മുളച്ചു മുതിരുന്നത്, പുളച്ചു മതിക്കുന്നത് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ പഴയ തലമുറയെ അവരുടെ ആ ഒരു അധ്വാനത്തിലാണ് പുതിയ തലമുറ പുളച്ചു മതിക്കുന്നത് എന്നുള്ള കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് വളരെ കൃത്യമായി വരുന്നുണ്ട്. താങ്ക് യു ഫോർ ആഡിങ്. യെസ്
നിർമ്മല കോളേജ് മൂവാറ്റുപുഴ. ലിജി നിർമ്മല കോളേജ്. ഞാൻ ഈ കയ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന കവിത നമ്മുടെ ബൈബിളിൽ നിന്നൊരു കോട്ടിങ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, ഗോതമ്പ് മണി നിലത്ത് വീണ് അഴിയുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ അത് അതേപടി ഇരിക്കും, അഴിയുന്നെങ്കിലോ അത് വളരെ ഫലം പുറപ്പെടുവിക്കുമെന്നൊരു കോട്ടിങ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. അതിനോട് ചേർത്ത് ചിന്തിക്കാനായിട്ട് ആഗ്രഹിക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അഴിഞ്ഞാൽ മാത്രമേ ഫലം പുറപ്പെടുവിക്കുള്ളൂ. ഇവിടെയാണെങ്കിലും നമ്മള് മധുരിക്കണമെങ്കിൽ കുറച്ചൊക്കെ കഴിക്കണം. അതിപ്പോ നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിലെ, അത് ലോകത്തിലെ തന്നെ ഏത് കാര്യത്തിലാണെങ്കിലും, അത് ഫലങ്ങളുടെ കാര്യത്തിലാണെങ്കിലും തുടക്കത്തിൽ ചില ചെറിയ കയ്പുകളും ചെറിയ പുളിപ്പുലി കൂടിയൊക്കെ കടന്നു വന്നാണ് അത് അവസാനം മധുരിക്കുന്നത്. മനുഷ്യ ജീവിതത്തിലാണെങ്കിലും അങ്ങനെയാണ്. വലിയ ഉയരങ്ങളിൽ എത്തിയേക്കുന്നവരെല്ലാം തന്നെ കയ്പിലൂടെയും പുളിപ്പിലൂടെയും ഒക്കെ കടന്നു വന്ന് ആണ്. അപ്പൊ കഴിക്കുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ മധുരിക്കാനാവില്ല എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ചെറിയ ചിന്തയും കൂടി ചേർത്ത് വെക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നു മിസ്സേ. താങ്ക് യു.
Very good. So this is the relationship between and theological is very നന്നായിരിക്കും. Good morning. Selvi from Madurai. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Donna. Am I audible? Am I clear?
Yes.
I'm Donna. I'm from St. Joseph College, Ernakulam. Ma'am, I just wanted to do some review on this poem on Maya Angelou. I think ഇന്നത്തെ നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഒരു മെന്റൽ സ്ട്രെങ്ത് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഭയങ്കര വൾണറബിൾ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. ആസ് യു ക്യാൻ സീ ത്രൂ ദ ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പേഴ്സ്, റീസെന്റ് ന്യൂസ്, ഇന്നത്തെ കുട്ടികൾ ആത്മഹത്യ ചെയ്യുന്നു. എന്തൊക്കെ വന്നാലും there might be, there will be struggles, but that shouldn't let you down. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികളെ നമ്മുടെ പഠനത്തോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ നമ്മൾ പഠിപ്പിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. മേ ബി ദേ ഷുഡ് utter these lines every day, that whatever happens to me, you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. ഒന്ന് എന്തെങ്കിലും സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ important that we should rise up. വീണാലും എഴുന്നേൽക്കും എന്നുള്ളൊരു വലിയൊരു മെസ്സേജ് ഐ തിങ്ക് നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിൽ ഒന്ന് ഇംബൈബ് ചെയ്യണം. അപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു ഇതാണ് തോന്നുന്നത്. എസ്പെഷ്യലി ദ ഗേൾസ്, ഐ ആം ടീച്ചിങ് ഇൻ എ ഗേൾസ് കോളേജ്. അപ്പോൾ you will confront all these difficulties. You will move to a new life, new work, and there will be ഒത്തിരി ഫെയിലിയേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ഒത്തിരി സ്ട്രഗിൾസ് ഉണ്ടാവും, ഹേർഡിൽസ് ഉണ്ടാവും. ബട്ട് സ്റ്റിൽ വാട്ട് എവർ ഹാപ്പൻ, ഇഫ് there are failures too, but I will rise എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആ ഒരു വലിയൊരു പൊട്ടൻഷ്യാലിറ്റി, ദാറ്റ് ഇന്നർ സ്ട്രെങ്ത്, ഒരു ഇത് നമ്മൾ എപ്പോഴും ഒന്ന് ശരിക്കും ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്ത് പറയേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യമായിട്ട് എനിക്ക് തോന്നി മാം. താങ്ക് യു. ഹലോ.
Hello.
ഹലോ മാം, ഞാൻ ക്ലിയർ ആയിരുന്നോ? Did I make myself clear?
ക്ലിയർ ആയിരുന്നു, പക്ഷെ മാം ഇല്ലാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
ഓക്കെ, സോറി. താങ്ക് യു.
Is it audible, ma'am?
Rasoma madam has some connectivity problem, it seems. She will join soon.
Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible. Ma'am is not there, I think.
Yeah, she is coming soon. Some connectivity problem is there.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Now it's open, ma'am.
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am.
sorry. So we will have 5 more minutes during the afternoon session. Don't worry. That okay.
Ma'am, voice
So
is
concentrate
not
for
clear.
that. From Miss from St. Lucy's College. Okay.
Madam, may I present my question, ma'am? Yesterday's one. Ma'am?
Yes.
I am Dr. C. Meenakshi from Madurai Meenakshi College. My question is synthesis of aspirin. Here, the outline the synthesis is the affective domain, and the component which we are going to taken for the synthesis and designing, they are come under the psychomotor design. And actually, the synthesis is carried out in the lab based on this on outline and the compound designing. That is one is the cognitive domain. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Meenakshi, your answer is right. It includes all the domains. I think
Yes.
we have, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So it includes
Thank you,
all
ma'am.
the 3 components. Very good, very good. Now
Thank
we
you,
have
ma'am.
been discussing upon the relevance of the poem, comparison of the poem. I am sorry that I couldn't hear the last communication by the person from
Ma'am,
St.
your
Teresa's
voice
College.
is not
I'm sorry.
clear.
Voice is breaking, ma'am. Voice is breaking.
ടീച്ചറെ വീണ്ടും പ്രശ്നമാ, ഒന്നും കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. ഇല്ല ടീച്ചറെ, ഒന്നും കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല, ഭയങ്കര ഡിസ്റ്റർബൻസാ.
Afternoon session വേണമെങ്കിൽ 2 to 3:45 ആക്കാം. Thank you.
ടീച്ചറെ ഒന്നും കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
Hello, teacher. Some network issues there. Osumama, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Her network is down. I think we'll start the session tomorrow bit early at 1:45 p.m. Is it okay for you?
Afternoon session.
Yeah.
Today.
Today afternoon, not tomorrow. Today afternoon.
Today itself.
Today, okay.
The afternoon session will start at 1:45 instead of 2. Okay. So her net is down. That's the problem. So sorry for the inconvenience. So we are concluding today's forenoon session now itself. So we'll start the evening session, forenoon session at 1:45. Okay. So join back at 1:45.
Forenoon or afternoon session? Afternoon session at 1:45.
Yeah. Yeah. Morning session is concluding right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.